Hey guys, how's it going? We're doing a Dota podcast. This is Purge here, and I'm here with Blitz, the top Korean mid player, now living in Germany, casting for Join Dota. You saw him at TI5 casting, everything but the grand finals pretty much. And also here with Hotbid, who now works for ESL, but you probably know him from his TI interviews. And other than that, the website Esports Express, if you're familiar with that, that is also his creation. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
So we just thought we'd do a talk show. We thought it might be fun to sit down and record some stuff. So we're just going to talk about a range of topics, not really fit to anything too linearly, and move through everything. Well, what was the first thing you guys want to talk about? Do you want to talk about ESL coming up?
I want to talk
Especially-
about Moonduck.
You want to do Moonduck first?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get this out of the way. Do you have any questions, or? I mean, I can answer them.
What's Moonduck like?
Moonduck is I'm one of the lesser hardworking people in there. There's I basically all I do is I do my typical YouTube thing, and then I read about 200 lines of Skype messages a day from people actually doing work. So I just kind of like sit in the back and wait to reap the rewards. Is basically what Moonduck is for me.
And are you responsible for the name of the studio?
The name was my idea. Yes.
Oh my god. How did you come up with that?
Um, Without getting too deep into it, somebody thought Space Cow, I think, or something like that. No. Yeah, Space Cow. Someone thought like, or Moon Cow. Someone said like Moon Cow, and we're like, it kind of sounds too much like Spirit Breaker. So we decided to change the animal name, and I was the first person to say Moonduck. So we didn't want to do something like Moondragon, because then I would just sound like we were like 12-year-old kids making their gamer
You
tag
guys
for the
still
first
sound
time.
like you're 12-year-old
Yes,
kids because you
Moonduck
chose
does.
Moonduck.
I don't care. I think it's way better. So that's the story, and I take full credit and full praise for that.
That's not something you want to take full credit for. Like, I wouldn't put
Yeah.
that on my resume.
It's gonna be okay.
Did you make the logo?
I did not actually. The first logo we got made was actually Owen made this one in Paint, and it was horrible. It was basically like a sun with like a black outline of a hippo, and it just looked like shit. And then we tried to get an artist to design something like that but better, but he basically was like trying to artistically interpret Owen's shit design in the first place, which just it was basically like trying to polish a turd, and the turd got polished, but it didn't look that much better. And then Sunsfan got somebody else to make something, and it came out with the very lovable icon that we currently have. So we're all really happy with the icon a lot.
And is it related at all to Sunsfan's team or not?
No, it is not. But the only thing that ties the two together is that we use some of the same people that work on both projects, like the website guy that made our website also made the website for Digital Chaos, and the other linker is that Sunsfan obviously works with both groups, and Nikki does as well. So we have some cross collaborative employees, but that's about it.
Did you tell Sunsfan? Did you talk to Sunsfan after the little bit of backlash he got about the video at all?
You're talking the Digital Chaos one, yeah?
Yeah, the announcement one.
For those of you guys that didn't see it, it was it was like a 2-minute video, and the first minute was just showcasing Sunsfan's projects, and it was it made sense that he did it that way because he wanted to show it to his YouTube subscribers, and the Dota Simna YouTube subscribers sometimes don't follow outside things, so I wanted to be like, look, this is why this is relevant, because it's about Sunsfan being tied to this and what Sunsfan wants to do. But it came off really egotistical. Is that the word you guys would use? It was like a 2-minute video about their new team, their new Dota team, and the first minute was introing projects that Sunsfan has done, and it was pretty funny.
I think
Yeah.
it could have been okay, but it was like using him as the intro and seeing where he went was fine. It kind of explained the direction he was taking, but it was just weird because the player intros were so there was
short.
like nothing for them. Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I defended Shannon on Twitter, but the video was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Do they have like you guys need like? Did he show it to any of you guys before he released it?
Not me.
Because-
I to my knowledge, he was rushing it a bit since there was a leak. I asked him where the leak came from, and he actually didn't know. He had no idea where the leak came from. So the leak got out for some reason, and yeah, it seemed like they were just trying to get it over with. Because at that point, if everybody already knows what your lineup is, and they already saw your intro, do you really try that hard to hype it up or something? It's not about a release anymore. It's more about getting more eyes on the product, and I think that's what their video was. So
Well, a lot of people watched the video. That
they
was their
they
goal.
did, and it became a bit of a meme there. And the Reddit circle jerk against Suns fan is continuing strong, but it's I don't know. Good.
Blitz, you know Buryu, right? Is that guy like legit? Is he good?
I think he is. I think probably the biggest thing about him is he's got a really big willingness to learn. Like he just wants to talk Dota and really understand Dota at a high level. Like he might not immediately get there, and if people just have the expectation that he's gonna blow the world away immediately,
He's gonna
I'm not
be
sure.
better than PPD, right? Eventually.
I don't know about that, but because I mean PPD peak, what he won DAC and TI5, like it's hard to beat that.
Yeah, he does.
But-
He did okay.
Yeah, he
They
did
really
all right.
did win both.
Yeah, and he also got like third at TI4 with a completely different roster. Like,
It's a pretty good 2-year stretch. Do you
Not
remember?
bad.
Do you guys know the first time I ever saw PPD was you were there too, Will, at MLG Columbus? Like the year before that, he showed up and almost nobody knew who he was. I felt
Yeah.
my only interaction was playing like one IXDL game with him, and I thought that he bought Courier, and he didn't. He bought like 2 wards or something, but he didn't also buy Courier. I thought for sure he bought Courier, so I bought 2 Sentries and Smoke, and we didn't have a fucking Courier. He was so mad. That was my only, and we had to fucking remake because everybody was just like, we don't even have a fucking Courier. This is stupid. Like, why are we?
That was your chance
Yeah.
to join EG.
I
and
could
you
have
blew
joined
it.
EG if I
Yeah.
bought the Courier. He was like, dude, it's a profit. You don't need Sentries. Are you stupid or something like that? And I was like, god damn, I just got wrecked. So, but he was at MLG Columbus. That was the first time I saw him. So he's had good time since then.
I remember when their team was first Sad Boys and they were not doing great the first like week or two, and people were making fun of them. Like like it was like PPD and like RTZ, and like at that point Universe had not established himself as like someone that was like really really good yet.
Mhm.
Like he was really good on Dignitas obviously, but it was like, oh, here we go again, like mediocre team, right? And people were like, making fun of them, and then that ended pretty quickly. But
I think
you know,
the people that don't care about what others say and they just play to get better are the ones that always succeed. Like when PPD first came in, he was just kind of like a fuck everybody. I'm just gonna focus on figuring out the game for myself. I remember like I knew Universe in Dota 1. He was like Universe 112 on Garena, and he'd be the guy that never had a team and would like spam people to see if he could ring for them in Dota 1 like nonstop. And I mean, he wasn't like terrible, but you would never think he was good. And he just like kept grinding at it like nonstop. He would just like keep asking people, can I play? Can I play? Can I play? And I think people like that don't really care what you think of them, and like their only goal in Dota is to get better.
That's good. I know another player like that right now. Swindlemones. I know a lot of people criticized how he performed at TI. I've run into him like 6 times in pubs now, consistently. I've actually played in pubs with him all the time, by far more than any other player, unless they're all fake nicked or something. But I see him in pubs all the time because I assume the guy just plays pubs all the time. That's what it seems like, at least. So he's working really hard too, it seems like.
at TI, he was talking to. I saw him like talking to. I think he was talking to 2 girls, and they were like working. They were like what part of the Key Arena like event staff.
I'm liking this story. Continue.
And I saw him, and I had already interviewed him, so I knew him, and I just walked up and pretended to be a gigantic fan of him. Like I was like, I walked up and I was just like, Swindle man, huge fan. Like I love you, like how you play, like great job, like you do you, man. And then like he was looking at me like I was crazy because like I was the Valve interviewer and everything.
Yeah.
And then whenever I see a pro player talking to girls, I always do that. Let's just walk up and start fanboying over them, and they get really confused.
I think he has a girlfriend anyways, so
Oh.
you probably didn't even help him, man. You just
Well,
confused him.
the thought that counted.
That's true.
I felt like he appreciated it. I hope.
Well, if he listens to this podcast and he sees what you're going for, I'm sure he will.
Swindle's girlfriend, if she's listening to this podcast, I hope I'm sure he was just
If she exists.
yeah, I'm sure it was completely innocuous, platonic, no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, ESL is going to be great. right now most of the top teams are there.
We have Secret has been confirmed, VP, CDEC, and EG. So that's what, top 2 TI? That's pretty awesome. It was awesome to see CDEC get the invite over some of the other Chinese teams.
Do you
Those
think?
are. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna ask about EG. Do you guys think that they're gonna just roll everyone really easily, or what?
Uh, not necessarily, because I mean that's still a pretty stacked roster, and I think TI's format it was easier to figure out who was gonna win. Like EG had a pretty good opportunity to come back, but there's no loser bracket, right, at ESL New York, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So
How much
it's,
is our tour gonna get flamed if they don't win the tournament?
I mean, a lot, but you kind of have to deal with that, I guess, because the goal should be winning like the next TI or the next major, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously they'll go to ESL New York for because it'll be really good practice and it'll show them where everybody is relative to them.
Yeah.
But I think there's a good chance that EG doesn't. I mean, that's half the teams that place top 8 at TI that are going there. Like that's a really stacked field.
And then
It's not a
the
surprise.
Alliance already dropped out of the qualifiers, so that's sad.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? They lost? Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. They lost
Nip
Nip,
yesterday.
right? And
I think-
there's...
Yeah, the
Just-
most
Go ahead.
crazy thing about that loss was that they won the first game really convincingly, right?
Mhm.
And then everyone was like, "Alliance is back," like they're so good. And then they lost the next two.
I saw game 2. I didn't see the last one, though. But
I
the...
think that,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say that I think the first game was 19-2 or something.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean, when a game gets that out of hand, it's pretty much over. It comes down to like those first couple engagements, and if they all go your way, then the game is won in almost all situations. So I don't think that that's that weird. Like stomps can happen, and they can go both ways. There's a chance of it in every game, I feel. I feel like EG will do well though, but if there's no loser bracket, like it could just be coin toss kind of a thing. Like they could just lose the best of 3. It's unlikely, but it's possible.
I hope the Aoi team makes it, and we can see
That'd be
Aoi's
cool.
team against EG. That is the dream, right?
The ultimate drama, because there's 4 qualifier spots, right? Is it one
Yeah.
per region, like 1 NA, 1 EU? Do you know how it works?
Formatting wise, the qualifiers I can look that up right now.
Okay.
But there are 4 qualifier spots, yeah. So the European qualifier only has 1 slot, so yeah, I imagine that's the case.
Okay.
I mean, it can still be Navi, so that's pretty exciting. Right now, though, it's Navi, Empire, Nip, and Vega. So whoever comes out of that will be pretty good.
Okay. Well, that should be fun. Like Will said, top 4 of the 8, 4 of the top 8 from TI should be a really good showing. So I think it's gonna be a lot better than last year's. Like the teams last year, I thought were decent, but not that amazing. So it's a nice improvement for them. So I'm sure ESL's a lot happier about that.
Yeah.
I'm just
and
excited about the storylines.
Like
what
all
are
the,
you most excited
you mean,
about?
like the roster swaps or something.
Like I want to see Team Secret more than anything. That's so insane. Their roster. We got like Weehaw, who he said he was afraid he was gonna poison people's food, and they're
Weehaw,
playing on a
really?
team together.
Weehaw's
You
the
didn't hear about
nicest
that?
guy ever.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That was a long
We-
time
we
ago,
met
though,
him.
right?
We met him at the the
Yeah.
Bucharest qualifier, and he was great. He was really cool. I
That's
made
what I
fun of
mean.
him for doing the refresh thing. I kept making fun of him for the refresh thing, and he was completely just laughing and cool about it. He wasn't even
Yeah,
salty
that's
at
what
all.
he just has a really good attitude. So I think
He's very carefree and laid back. It's
yeah,
kind of
it's
the opposite of what I expected, But
why? I mean, everybody does something stupid.
I don't
I
know.
don't think
He's
he-
young. He's young, I didn't
Yeah.
think he would be that cool,
But it's like the return of Pylite Die, like the real return of Pylite Die. Team Tinker doesn't count. Misery's playing probably off lane, right? I think with this roster.
I think wasn't EE support or something like that, or is he?
Nah,
carry stuff?
it's gotta be Puppy and Pylite Die support.
Oh yeah, Delku's puppy. Will be-
Weehaw mid, E carry Misery off lane.
Yeah. I
And he
think
seems
that's
happy. If you look at his Ask FM, he's like, "We're winning late game." What the fuck?
good. Oh, that's good. He
I think
definitely
it's just
seemed
more
depressed.
discipline.
What's more disciplined? their team.
It's like, yeah, because I think everybody was kind of. I think everybody at the end of C9, like if you hear them talk about it, they're just like, we all knew that what had happened to TI was going to happen. Like they all just sounded so like fatalistic about it.
Mm.
So I think they just assumed that they were going to do poorly, and then when it happened, like after the game, I think I saw like Misery and Notel, and they looked really upset because they obviously they got knocked out of the tournament. But like afterwards, they were just like, well, our team had issues and stuff like that. I don't think I get the sense that it's not like anybody hated each other, but it was one of those things where they knew that whatever, like some things like couldn't be fixed. Like they just saw Dota differently, I think.
Yeah, I know they had a lot of emotional players too. So if you have all emotional players and you start doing bad, then you lose confidence.
I mean, that team's super exciting, but I want to know if you guys think that the Digital Chaos team, like what their ceiling is. Because like I always cheered for Bulb and TC. Like I know
too.
those guys from a long time ago, and I even filmed the full training camp in TI, like when they were on Liquid, and I really hope that they do well. But at some point, like even if you're like a huge fan of them, you're like, can they really get it done on like that level? Like, do you think they can? Blitz.
Uh, I mean,
Get a 12 prediction.
like I love Sam, and I've known AUI for a really long time, and TC is really cool too. But I think their first few months might be rough, but I think they just need to stick together and try to stay positive and not just immediately disband or start kicking people. I feel like, especially for North American Dota, like a lot of people are guilty of that whole mentality of if it doesn't work at first, instead of just like figuring out what's going wrong, they just kind of move parts around.
Mm-hmm.
I think if their team does really well, like they've got really talented players at all their positions. Like I played against Yawar mid, that guy's excellent. I think TC, like people flame him all the time, but I think a lot of the teams he was on, it was more of a confidence thing than him actually just playing terribly or anything like that. I think he's the type of player that needs his teammates to believe in him, and I don't really see anybody on this team that's inherently a rager. Like I heard Beer you talk for like an hour about Dota, and he just seems like a really calm guy, and I know Curtis is too, despite what people might think. Like Kurt's a really nice, calm guy. Bulba, you and I both know, can be really emotional, but I think especially after his time on EG, like he was the coach for EG. If anybody doesn't know that, he's like
Yeah.
really matured a lot. Like
I think
it's still
being that coach probably helped him more than anything else, right? He knows how
oh
that
for
team
sure,
operates now, listening to how they communicate, all that stuff.
yeah, and he's gonna try to take that and apply to his team and say, okay, this is how they do things. And I mean, his team should listen. And AUI was a TI winner, right? Like
No,
everybody
they
on that
modeled.
team,
Their team is exactly like EG.
they've literally got Sumail's
They've
brother. It's
copied.
like,
Yeah, they're so like they have a Pakistani immigrant, new to the scene player mid, right? They
Okay.
have an Indian offlaner whose
All right.
origins come from old school NA Dota,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Completely new kind of like drafter, leader slash support that they kind of believe in to execute, like like just like PPD when he's coming up. Super old school, old NA Dota Canadian carry, right?
wait, Fear's not
Fear's not
Fear's
Canadian.
not Canadian.
I'm talking about our tour.
Okay.
Ah, okay,
Okay.
All right.
All right.
okay.
And then Owie.
It's on both teams. So
Yeah. He was on both teams. Like that's the closest you can get.
wow, he's literally a 1-to-1 reproduction of the EG AUI 2000. I
Yeah.
don't know how they got him.
Yeah, they're exactly the same.
That's amazing.
And I remember Liquid did build the exact same team as Alliance after TI3, and that didn't work out. So hopefully this team's a little bit more flexible, right?
I think that team lacked maturity, and I think that team lacked overall leadership. But I think in this team, it's going to be a lot easier because you've got a guy who literally just won TI. So if that ever comes up as an issue, I feel like AUI can at least like hold the reins. Same
I
with
think that was
Bulba.
the right move, that EG kicking him.
At first I thought it
Like
was
if you were the
kinda messed
GM,
up.
if you were like the GM of EG, let's say, general manager, let's say, would you make that
I
move?
think, yeah, I think so. I think Arteezy's too talented. Like I think that he definitely proved his value at TI. Like his team got 8th, but all the games that he played, he was excellent in, right?
Yeah, I think
And
so too.
It's true.
in the entire tournaments that he played before that, he was probably the best player. It's not a stretch to say that he was the best player for most of 2015, early or late 2014, and he's only going to get better. Like he's one of those players that just grinds, plays all the time, like studies the game, practices 1v1s. It's hard to replicate something like that. Like he's got
Him and
drive.
Sumail, cover each other's hero blind spots, right?
Yeah, that's probably one of the more important things too. That
Does
heroes
Sumail
that
play Ricky though? I don't think he plays Ricky.
you're so dumb.
Did he play Ricky? Sumail.
He definitely should.
You should learn it.
I think he had to get kicked though, like you said. There's only maybe 3 players that you could justify swapping your roster for, and changing everything up. And Artesia is probably one of them. I don't know who the other 2 are. I'm just saying it was a very small amount of people that it would justify kicking him for. And like they said, they have to plan for the future and do what they think is best for winning. And it's like a really like a dick move, I guess, but like it's completely justified. Like.
Do you guys think Sumail doing so well is making these other teams try out like high pub players, like not pub, but like like newer, just high skilled mass gaming like high MMR guys?
I don't think it was just Sumail. I think it was also CDEC.
Oh yeah,
it was the 2 of those. Like yeah, Sumail obviously got it done, but CDEC was like 5 unknowns more or less, at least from a Western perspective. I believe in China they were known, but.
And they managed to get their high MMRs without ever playing Leshrac, apparently.
more
Oh
amazing.
my god!
What?
Who knew?
It's true.
So yeah, their story was.
That
pretty
really
cool.
did bite them in their ass, though.
I mean,
The fact that they couldn't play it, that was such a big deal.
what you had something to say about high MMR, right, Blitz? You said you did.
Oh, I mean, I keep getting these emails from people that ask if they can play competitive Dota, and they're like 4.2k MMR, and they're just like, I want to form a team and like quit school and create a team house, and
Yeah,
like
Blitz,
that's
I'm
completely the wrong move.
I'm 4.3k MMR, Blitz. Do you think that I could go pro if I like spent all my time at it?
If
Give it to me
you're,
straight.
I think if you're playing the game like you've got like 2,000 games and you're playing casually, you should still hit like 5k like, pretty easily too, without that much difficulty. If you want to be even considered as like a tier 1 player, because I think there is a certain amount of talent and hard work that goes into it that people don't realize. Like it's not just like the number one argument that I get whenever I tell these people like don't quit high school to pursue pro Dota, and they're just like, but I could be the next Sumail. And I was like, if you play 4,000 games and you're still not 4k MMR, it's not your teammates. Like it's you. Like I don't know how else to tell people that. I'm not trying to crush anybody's dreams, but
No,
should.
you
whenever I
are.
get-
You're crushing
you should.
people's dreams right now.
I should though. I think I should be harsher about that too, because I literally got an email like 2 weeks ago that was like, I'm really thinking of telling my parents I want to quit high school. I was really inspired by Sumail. He's like, I know MMR doesn't mean anything, and then I pressed him. I was like, hey dude, what's your MMR? And he's like, why does it matter? And I was like, just you gotta tell me. And he's like, fine. And he's like 3.9k. And I was like, you don't have to quit high school to figure out if you're good or not. Like you can balance both. And he's like, but I want to know what it'd be like if I fully commit my time and do nothing but play Dota. And I was like,
Well, we can tell you, you'll basically spend all of your time playing Dota. You'll maybe increase your MMR by a couple 100 points, and then you're gonna realize that you should have stayed in high school. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean.
if you're not even at, all right, so the MMR ranking system, like when it first came out, they had percentages. The top 1 percentile start at 4,100. So if this guy isn't even 4.1k yet, there's 1% of all Dota players that are better than him, and we'll assume that's like what 10 million people or something. That's like 100,000 people that are better than him at Dota, that are more likely to be Sumail than him. Like the competition is so big. If you're like an adult and you understand the mechanics of Dota and you're min-maxing and you're good at learning about your own errors, and you're not like 5k MMR at least, there is no freaking way you should ever give up on school if you're in high school.
I met some kid at TI that was like 13, and he was like asking me questions, and I thought it was going to be just like really basic weird questions, but he was asking me like ton of high level questions that I can't recall off the top of my head. And I asked him like what MMR he was, and he was like 5300. And I asked him how old he was because he was like the smallest kid there. He's like, I'm 13. Like that guy, I could feasibly see being the next Sumail, right? Because and he's doing it because he has to go to school. Like I asked his dad, like his dad was with him. He's like, yeah, I make him do all his homework and stuff before he can play. If that kid knows that he's 5300 MMR while still attending middle school, and he's that good, like you could
Come on, you
easily
didn't do
figure
anything
out.
during middle school, dude. You don't have to
Yeah,
do
but it's
anything
like,
during. You're
you don't
learning
really
like
do anything.
arithmetic.
Yeah, but you don't do anything during high school, anyways. Like, come on,
Like you
if
have to read Watership Down. Like you don't have to
If
do
you-
anything.
That's an exciting story. Holy shit. That's like actually feasible. That's like a kid that could be Sumail.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was encouraging him. I was like, if you need help with something, like, send me an email. Like, this
Pakistani
is
too?
somebody. Nah, I think he was like Vietnamese or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. My
What's his
sister
ID?
kept trying
I
to
want to
pinch
look
his
for it.
cheeks.
You're gonna.
I
You gotta tell,
can't.
tell us his ID. So we
I
can
don't know if I
predict.
should,
No.
but I'll tell you. I'll tell you if he ever gets in here. But anyways, like,
Is it-
I think that shit's important. Like, you need a baseline MMR. It's not even for your understanding of
Did you
Dota
introduce
that
him
matters.
to Charlie?
The EG Academy.
I think that the way that people go wrong is they hear somebody like Arteezy say like MMR doesn't mean shit. What Arteezy actually means when he says that is like when you're over like 5.5k MMR or something like that, it doesn't mean shit for competitive at all. Oh, sorry, I just made Skype noise on the bot. I fucked up. Oh god, 2 Skype. Damn, that's you guys. You guys fucked up.
I don't even think it's like.
It's like at a certain point, like if you can get over 5k and you can feasibly do that by yourself, then you're in some way good enough. If you're not like a super outlier like Mason or something like that. But like they just mean that like super high MMR doesn't necessarily mean you're the best competitive player. Like some average 6k player isn't going to be as good as like some well-known competitive player. So you can't say that like the MMR means nothing thing and say that I'm 3k, MMR means nothing.
I actually started playing solo queue recently.
What, you didn't play it before?
No, I did my calibration matches. I got to 4400. I was 44 like 15 or something.
Okay.
Like when MMR first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Then like 2 years later is when I finally started playing solo queue, and I immediately dropped like several hundred points. I think I'm like I pushed back up now. I'm like 43, but like I understand. I understand a bit why people get mad now. I'm like a generally pretty positive person, you know, like I try and, you know, be positive or whatever, but you're forced into playing support sometimes. Like sometimes you just can't win. I read a lot of stuff about how to handle your like emotions, and like some like 20% of games you just can't do anything, you know. And you know, I think it's fine. I'm doing okay, but from playing that, it's very clear that I have no chance of ever being like a super high tier player. You know, like I know that for a fact just from playing. I still enjoy it, but you know, it's clear to me that I'm not cut out for that, right? So I think some self-reflection, maybe people that want to go pro. Because I mean, like I've played with you guys, right? Like, I've played with Blitz, I've played with, you know, Korak and TC, and every time during the game, they're like snowballing and like just outplaying the other people on the other team. Like no matter who it is, it's just like 99% of the time they're outplaying them. And I just realized like I'm not doing that, and if I'm not doing that at 4K, then you know it's not going to magically happen without like a ridiculous amount of work.
The MMR actually adds up. It's actually so important. You can tell when the game is 100 average difference between them and you. Once you only play with people that actually play a lot, so their MMR is actually really accurate, you can definitely tell when things are mismatched or when somebody's playing worse or better than they should be. It makes a big difference. So
I don't want to say though that MMR. I think people are gonna listen and think that MMR is like the end all be all. That's not what I especially am trying to say. I'm just saying that it's like if you need some sort of indicator whatsoever, it's like the best one to go on.
yeah,
Like because nobody can really trust your ultra great understanding of the game, right? And there is like at least a cutoff point. I really strongly believe that if any competitive player tries to get like 6K, they should be able to get it. You know, everyone always brings up like the whole Mason meme, you know, where it's like, oh, Mason was only, but Mason like didn't care and he played NEL like 24/7.
Or
so he was getting better.
Heen was 4,500 MMR, you know, when
he's like 6,100 now or something like
Yeah,
that. And he
exactly. But
plays
like he was low before he was like
yeah.
calm.
But what I mean is like if you should be able to like once you start playing competitively. I think I see like Zai play 6K and he just like messes around nonstop and people don't realize it. But if you're gonna be a competitive player or you want to be and you're listening to this, like you should be able to get 6K before you start asking people to like take you super seriously as a competitive player.
So now that
That's
I mean I want to just transition from that. I want to know since you're a caster now, do you have any advice to people that want to do that?
uh
How do they do
I
that? Is
think
that harder than to be a player or not?
I think it's more just you kind of have to convince the community that you're okay at it more than anything. Because if you're a player, it's just your own thing, right? Like
I'd
it's
agree.
either you're good enough or you're bad. But if you're a caster, you just have to not. I was just gonna say like you don't have to be. You just have to not be ass at it. But you just have to fill a role that nobody else is doing or that you do particularly well. Like you can't be like a 2K MMR player that had no competitive experience and expect to be an analyst, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're really charismatic, you speak really eloquently, then being a play-by-play caster isn't out of the realm of possibility. You just kind of have to plug away at it. Like a lot of it is
Hmm.
just persistence. Like being a competitive player, talent, it always win out. You'll probably get noticed faster. Um, but as a caster, like I think OD Pixel was casting for like a year and a half or something like that before he even got noticed. I think he got really lucky with Kevin's game, where they had the 3 hour C9 game, and he was really able to show off his full.
No. You know where he actually got lucky was where you lost that fucking Dirt Mall game, and then OD Pixel won Dirt Mall. That was what
Oh, is that what?
that Dragon Fist throw was what made OD Pixel
It
famous.
wasn't Dragon Fist. It was Devilish, right?
Devilish. Okay, my bad. The other D one.
Yeah,
The Dev.
but what I
Good.
I think it's somewhat harder to break out as a caster nowadays, anyways.
Hmm.
Because how many new casters are there? There's like me and OD Pixel, and that's about it. In the
Yeah,
last,
I think a lot of it also comes down to it just doing the hard work. Like OD Pixel did actually cast a lot of shit games. He cast a lot of like low tier amateur Dota scene games, and almost nobody wants to do that work. And I think what a lot of people do, it's the same thing as the people that message you saying like, "Oh, I'm 3K, I just need a chance." It's like, no, you don't get the chance. You like chance at making it. It does come down to like success at making it, or making it comes down to a chance, but it's a chance over time thing. You like roll the dice like for many months while you're improving, and eventually you'll get a hit and say like, oh, somebody actually wants you to co-cast with them. You can't just like say like, oh, I'm willing to start casting. Give me a shot. It's like, no, we're not going to take you on your first cast. Like a lot of players feel like that's what you're supposed to do. In reality, you have to do the grind first, and then see if your voice is okay, and then see if you're okay at speaking, and if you're okay at Dota itself, and okay at being an analyst or play-by-play. And you have to work on all
Or
that shit.
they can just take a TI game like a replay, just cast it, like solo cast it, and then you
Exactly.
could just make the VOD, and then you'd be like, hey guys, if you guys want to just give me some tips or see if I do good or bad, like just watch like 2 minutes. That's probably a
Yeah.
better application.
I hate when people ask me that question because I don't have time to watch like an hour game every
No,
single time a
I
fan
mean,
sends me.
they're
you
probably
can
just like,
you can just post it on Reddit or some
Yeah,
shit, and
just get
somebody will
fans.
hear from you.
You will get a couple of viewers and ask for feedback consistently, and you will get feedback, and you should listen to that very accurately. It's the same with raising your MMR. You have to be super self-critical. If you're not, you're never going to get better. Same thing.
I mean, we're always looking for casters at Join Dota.
Oh, really?
It's not like if you're a talented like play-by-play or analyst, like pretty much anybody will hire you. It's not like there's a monopoly or it's not like it's completely filled out or anything like that.
so who's the best
Um,
studio right now? Which is the best studio? There's three major
It's
ones.
definitely high ground.
it's definitely high.
Well, if okay, so if let's say BTS is, I'm gonna leave BTS out of this because we don't have a BTS representative
Okay.
in this call, but if I wanna do a thought exercise here with you guys, okay?
All right.
So let's say Blitz needs to argue that Moonduck is the best casting studio out there, and Purge needs to argue that Join Dota is the best casting studio out there. What would be your argument for that?
Well, we got Blitz Dota, so join Dota Best Studio 2015. Can you even argue against that?
I mean, they are the only studio that possesses a Nexon championship.
That's not true.
That's not true. That's not
I
true.
have one too, Dick. I got one. I got an next. It's on my mantle. I'll take a picture and show you. I
You're such
fucking
an
have it.
idiot, Hotbid.
Good try.
So you both have. Okay, sorry. So that can't be a thing. What else is there though? If you had to seriously make that argument.
I guess.
I would say we have a joined out as a portfolio of work existing. How about that?
Yeah.
Nice. Flame myself.
Don't don't all speak at once.
Moonduck
Has a good logo. Is that what
hasn't
you're
been jaded by the community yet.
That's actually really good. Really
Who's
good.
jaded by the community? What are you talking about? You guys aren't jaded by the.
No, us as an
Dude,
organization. There's no memes about us.
anytime like a production thing goes wrong, like we're working for ESL, instead of ESL being blamed, it's always like, why doesn't Joe and Dota just fix their sound shit? I'm just like, kill me.
Why don't you though?
Oh my
Why don't you just fix it?
Just press the magic button, dude.
Yeah.
There was like a squeaky door at MLG Austin, and people just kept messaging me. They're like, "Can you fix that?" I'm like, "What do you want me to do?" Like,
Get off the stage while I'm casting.
but
Well,
Moonduck-
Moonduck would have fixed the door, definitely.
dude, you're not supposed to argue for yourself, you idiot. I'm trying to think right now. I'm trying to make the argument for
It's taken them so long to think of reasons because it's just.
No,
so
just
different,
shut up.
right?
It has the least diverse cast of people. Almost everybody's white.
Suns
That's a
fan.
positive.
Suns fan is half Persian. I'll let you know, and he identifies as Persian. So I'm gonna take that as a racist quip.
Where
You guys are
Persians-
the
where
palest
Persians from?
studio.
Are we really? I guess we are pretty pale, huh?
You guys are the
You know-
palest studio by far.
Got Odie Pixel, me, Sin. That's like 3 super white dudes.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
sandals wearing trifecta. Well,
They're also quite tall, right? OD Pixel's tall.
Yeah,
Cinder is
you guys
tall.
are tall, I guess. So if
tall
we had
and
like an
average.
intramural basketball
war.
game, you guys would probably be. Let's not use the word height war when we just described your entire studio as white.
Joined out as way more CS:GO casters, so you got us beat there.
Oh my god. Yeah, Blitz, you play a lot of CS:GO. You could cast that, right?
Dude, I have no idea. I don't actually know how CS:GO casters do it. They're just I still don't even know all the terms.
You could
yet.
ask Toby. Get some tips.
I feel like play-by-play casting CS:GO is possible. It's the same as Dota. You can play-by-play cast it if you understand some basic things. But
I think
analysis, I would have no
analyzing
idea.
is like analyzing it is probably way too hard.
But
There's almost no way that anybody will take you seriously is the main thing.
there's less time to analyze in a CS:GO cast. I feel like unless you're on a panel or something. If you're on a panel, obviously you have to talk a lot about that. But if you're in a game,
No, the way they do it is different. The way they do it is like they give you like the overall scenario. Like they're like, it's 9-6. Here's where the money is.
okay,
You know, like this is how they should be playing. They keep doing this. Like a lot of it is just hindsight and just trying to correct play and predict for it. It's actually pretty interesting. Like I like the way the analysis is done for CS:GO. Are we done with this? Me trying to make arguments.
All right,
for
yeah,
Moonduck?
we're done. We're done. I didn't want to stretch it out that long.
it's hard to complement each other on things so diverse. Difficult.
You know what?
Just bad.
Well, I mean,
You know,
Moonduck
those,
definitely has the best YouTube presence, right? They got Purge. They got
that's true.
that channel that's owned by Suns Fan.
Yep.
I just know it's the owner. I don't know the name of the
No,
channel.
I think what's clear is that the best studio is Beyond the Summit, because we couldn't
yeah?
even fucking bring up excuses why we're good in the first place. So
Okay.
BTS
I
wins.
agree,
Did,
BTS.
It did give us our start for everybody.
Not me.
I guess you had Gosu Gamers.
Ghost Gamers, the OG man, 2011. I would say
I remember that.
me and
Yeah.
Shiver and what is hip and
What
Gods.
is- That's right.
You guys all made it.
We
You
all
guys
made it.
equally made it.
All 4 of us. Yes.
I mean,
I don't know
Yurik's
why
living the high life in San Francisco.
Is he actually? I don't want to talk about this because I feel like it's gonna very quickly go negative.
What are you talking about?
Didn't
He's working at Vulcan.
He, are you really unaware right now?
Trolling right now?
No. No.
He just
I
got
don't-
fired.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. I feel really bad now. Are you
Now
serious?
you just seem like
Yeah.
a dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean,
You're an asshole.
all things. No, seriously, I
Damn.
didn't know that. I did not know that.
You're like, he's living the high life. I was like, oh my
I
god,
was
that's
like,
so
damn,
mean.
I was like, this
Dude.
is harsh.
No, seriously. I feel really bad now.
I don't know if he got fired. I just know that his position has potentially become irrelevant or something like that. Therefore, we don't know what that. Maybe got let go. Maybe he got legit fired. I don't know. Maybe it all
I
means
just
the
thought
same
you were
thing.
being.
I hope-
I just thought
I
you were
hope-
being a dick.
No, I hope Greg lands on his feet then. I was not. Dude, I thought he was still working that. Fuck.
You fucked up.
Ignore me. That's my bad. I'm sorry, Greg. Fuck.
Damn,
Okay.
dude.
That was a level of flame that I didn't want to reach. So
Well, at least it was you, and at least we got it out of the way in the first episode.
if he wants the subreddit r_gerg, I am the #1 mod for it, so he can have it back.
Damn.
That's my gift to him if he wants it. Me and Mott are the 2 mods for it. So
I think that'll.
there's only
equate
one
things.
submission right now, but if he wants it back, I can give it to him.
Kind of want to see this.
r_gerg exists.
Greg, I want to see this too.
It's the moderators. I do own the subreddit, so if he wants it, I can give it to him.
That's pretty good. I think I need to put this on stream. AKA
Greg
on-
spelled backwards
on VOD.
is Gerg. Who's that a picture of? What the?
Mott has an AMA. It's
Gerg
2
moderator AMA?
3 months ago. Yeah. So subscribe, guys, because he needs our help.
All right, we're almost ready to show it. Yes, apply changes. There we are. 8 seconds late. Esports Hotbid. There you are.
Yeah. I do own the subreddit. So just ask Gerg and it's yours.
Where'd you get this image? What the hell is this?
What image?
That's what I'm saying.
When you actually click on the submission, it's an imager link.
Really?
It's your own. You don't even know?
No. What do you mean? I'll see it. I'll watch the thing and I'll look at it. It's fine.
Yeah, people are gonna be confused. Let's move on, Ho.
Anyway, do you guys are you guys well, first I want to say that do you know what comes out at the same weekend as ESL 1 New York?
The Martian.
The Martian.
The
You
Martian.
guys want to talk about The Martian?
Dumb. I read the book. Did you read the
Did
book?
you?
Will?
I
Yeah,
read
we
the
shouldn't
book.
spoil it though.
I read
No,
the
we
book.
don't have to spoil it.
We don't have to spoil it. Just saying.
I mean,
Are you guys? Does it ever make you sad that we're never gonna be able to visit Mars,
how do you know that?
like me and you?
We, we have like 60 years until we die. All right, we're probably a little bit too old. If we
Yeah,
were like
there's no way.
10, maybe we would have a chance.
Yeah,
but
I think what let's plot out the timeline. Like manned mission to Mars, probably 15 years, 10 years, right?
I mean, it's not even that cool there. Let's be real. Like, yeah, you're on Mars and shit, but it's
Dude,
cold.
the Earth
I'm
fucking
talking about-
rules.
You
I'm
can't
talking about-
breathe.
What do I need to be out of there for?
No, I'm talking about not just going there to survive. I mean I want to go to a mall and go shopping on another planet. Just something
Why
normal.
the fuck does that matter?
You know,
Because that'd be cool. I mean,
Dude, there's no Wingstop on Mars.
that's a good point.
they probably have something better than chicken there, like some other animal.
Even if they do, there's no way they're gonna have like Mexican food or something. So why even go? There's no point.
There's already no Wendy's in South Korea. You think there's gonna have one on Mars? No.
They would. There's gonna be some corporation that does it, probably, right? Come on.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like McDonald's or some shit. McDonald's is everywhere.
Like we can go to space, I'm sure, before we die, but I
The
think
moon. Maybe we can go to the moon.
That would
Okay,
be,
guys,
that would be
let's
pretty
make a pact right now. If we could somehow go to the moon in 50 years, let's all do it. The 3 of us.
Sure.
Okay.
I feel like we
All right,
Deal.
if we're all alive.
Can we take the G's at 80? I don't know if I can take the G's.
Okay, wait. Let's do it at 50. Okay. So.
At 50, that's not that far
That's in, like,
along from
20
me, man.
there's-
Okay, yeah, you're right.
It's in
That's like
3
20
or 4
years.
years. 3 or 4 years from me. 47. I can't. I
You're
can't
not gonna
go.
make it.
Yeah.
You definitely not.
All right, we'll do it when we're like 60, 65.
Yeah, and trust
shoot
me,
for
they'll
the
be
moon.
like, look, I believe in medical technology to help our bodies by that time. So maybe we'll have better tech to so we can withstand the G forces of interstellar travel.
so we don't just like collapse and die.
Yo, I'm all about those space movies, man. I follow NASA on Twitter now. I do so much. It's my
Actually, I
part.
don't know. Me and Will saw Interstellar when we were in Korea, and it was fucking incredible. I thought. If you guys
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet, we didn't. I didn't even watch the trailer. I didn't really know what it was until I went, and it was really nice going in blind. I really enjoyed the movie, but I have a physics background, so maybe that's partially why. Most of the science was really good. Obviously, some parts were not accurate or
The time travel
anything
part.
anything more than theoretical. But like at that point in the movie, like I'm fine if them with them like taking a theoretical spin on it. So
You know, it's kind of crazy. We're not allowed to spoil, right? Or we shouldn't.
I don't think you should. Even Interstellar is kind of old, but
You can spoil
Okay.
Interstellar, whatever, dude.
Okay, you know when they come back and that one guy is like super old now?
Yeah.
I guess that's like the most vague way to put it.
Mhm.
That scene like hit me super hard 'cause,
Yeah, that
uh,
scene where Matthew McConaughey watches his children age through like
Yeah.
video messages. That
Yeah.
that scene was like I was just like, oh my god, like because I saw it with a few Dota. I think I saw it with like Wetbus and like Too Good and like Shiver and those people at some event, right?
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh my god, like this is like hitting me like right. The feelings are hitting me right in the face. And I'm
Yeah.
happy that wasn't at the end of the movie, because that scene was fucking brutal.
Yeah. Oh, it was such a good movie. That was definitely like my favorite movie that I've seen in like 5 or 10 years or something.
Have you guys ever had any other movies that made you like just like sit down and like think about life? Because that movie did like made me like think about like
no.
things in general.
Yeah, just that one for me, really. And the best part is we sat in the movie theater and we had like the most great experience watching it, and then we got a cab home, and the guy drove 100 miles an hour on the highway all the way
So we
back to
really
our
were
Korean home.
confronted with our mortality.
Yeah,
at that
it was
point.
so scary.
Fuck.
We actually
It
almost
really
died.
was.
I was like, I saw a great movie, and I'm like actually afraid about dying instead of like some spaceship crashing into some other spaceship. Like, it was so intense. I did the translation. It was like 120 kilometers or something crazy. I don't remember exactly, but I did the translation. I know it was 100 miles an hour, and all the other cars were driving like 60, and he was just swerving in and out of traffic back and forth. And if one car changed lanes, bam, we're in an accident. It's that simple. It was
Yeah,
so
we
intense.
would not survive something like that. We were going way too quick.
Yeah, well,
But
you sometimes have to worry about your place in the stars. Not
Well,
sometimes you gotta reach for the stars, and that taxi driver, sees the day.
yeah. So, anyways, I read The Martian, and it's if you guys don't know what it is, it's basically a book about a guy on Mars, like an astronaut on Mars, and the book is very like very science oriented, and that was really cool. They talked about a lot of the things that you have to think about when you're going to Mars. It was so
And he's
awesome.
a funny guy. He's like a funny guy.
Yeah,
The guy
yeah.
that
It's a lot
he's
of
got a-
comedy. You're like, oh, there's a guy on Mars. Like, surely there's no comedy. Nope.
it's science humor, the best kind of humor.
Yeah, that's true.
you guys
Wow.
notice that nerd culture's becoming in lately? Like it's becoming really.
Yeah,
Really
even the
popular
NBA
lately.
NBA players wear nerd clothes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They wear like the
Snoop Dogg?
suspenders and the
Did you see that?
I mean,
Snoop Dogg was streaming on Twitch yesterday.
yeah, I heard
he's
that.
streaming Madden. Let's be serious. Like the next time, like talk to me when he's streaming Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah, some super indie game.
Yeah,
Super hipster indie game.
he's streaming Madden.
I feel like gamers have always been around, just they were scared to publicize it. It's like everybody thought that they were one of the few gamers. Like I always felt like that in middle and high school. It wasn't until college that I felt confident about being a gamer. I'm not sure about you guys.
I called I had to call my credit card company because like I just moved here, right? So I had to like pay down payment on my like apartment and stuff, and like the credit card kept like rejecting me because I was like immediately moved to California and started making these big purchases.
Uh-huh.
So I called the credit card company, and the guy that was on the phone with me, I was talking to him like during the whole time, and I was just like, "Oh, where are you located? Like, what are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm not actually in the U.S." And you know how they usually like expect you to like be like, "Oh, you're not in the U.S." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Where are you from?" And he said, "Philippines." And I go, "Oh, do you play Dota?" And he goes, "Yeah, man. I just watched TI5 like, $1 million Echo Slam." And I was just like, "What? like, are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, like, and granted, he said Sumail did the Echo Slam, but still, like,
Okay.
that's enough for me." I was like super hyped about it, and we ended up talking about Dota for like 10 minutes. The guy that works for Citibank. It's pretty crazy.
That lives in the Philippines. That's
yeah,
really cool.
because it's really huge in that country, you know. So
That's what I've heard as well. Yeah.
so it's mainstream, man. We're all about it. Jimmy Kimmel.
Everybody I talk to that knows Dota like just knows the name. They almost never actually play it.
Oh yeah.
They're always like, "Oh yeah, League of Legends."
He was like, "There's 2 Filipino players on like main teams now." I'm like, "Is that Chrissy on Fnatic?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know that. I know that guy." I was like, "Oh man, this guy knows his stuff."
All right. Did you guys talk about anything else or?
No, he
Did you-
fixed my credit card problem and then I hung up. That's generally how it went.
You didn't get like a Steam idea or something, dude? Come on. Could have been your.
I'm not gonna play on C server. Are you kidding me?
It's really toxic there. I would not recommend it.
Yeah, come on.
Definitely.
Like, that guy, like, probably as soon as I add him to Steam, starts like yelling at me or something.
We'll just
That's
flame
how
you.
C is. Yeah.
Yeah.
C was the worst by far out of all the servers I played on.
Yeah. NA actually doesn't bother me at all. At least at the MMR that I'm at now. Maybe if I was still like 4,700, people would be angrier. But I feel like as you go higher and higher, people get less angry. They spend more time playing and less time typing. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. I almost never. The only time I actually type stuff into the chat when I solo queue is to give encouragement or to make people stop
Yeah.
arguing.
It's a good idea.
Come on, guys, we can do it. You know, like, I believe in you, Slark, or whoever the carry is. Like, I think you can do it. And even when they see that it's, like, transparent, and, like, I'm just saying it, like, you know, whatever, but it still, like, loosens the mood a little bit, you know? So, I hope that helps at least a little bit.
I agree with that. Morale is really important. People always like there's no reason to like lower morale willingly. It doesn't actually help you in any way. It might relieve your stress, I guess, but is like you hurting the morale of 4 people gonna, even if you play like 10% better, is that really gonna save the game? Probably not.
I think a lot of how you can help communicate is simply in solo queue asking nicer.
Yeah.
Like, instead of being like, "What the fuck? Where are you?" or "Where were you?" Like, you can just be like, "Hey, the next time that happens, can you TP?" or something like that. You know, like, just a super nice.
I think that's even a little bit too negative. Like if I like a lot of pro players have been mentioning this sometimes. They're like, if there's a mistake, they just don't mention it. And I really like that idea. Because if they just don't mention mistakes, it's not as much pressure. Like hindsight, asking somebody to change something, I don't think is like it's constructive, I guess, but only if it's super relevant. Like, oh, we should have started the fight by going on this hero instead of saying like you should have stunned at this point. Like that doesn't actually help that person that much. Most of the time, they make those mistakes they realize already. I think it's better to just try to be proactive, asking people to do stuff like, oh, hey guys, let's do a smoke ink and draw on the map and say move down here, get a kill while this guy farms. Stuff like that. Like proactive play calling, I think is a lot better than hindsight mistake calling. That just lowers morale most of the time. And then people argue and shit like that, and then it's them typing and not farming or whatever. I don't know.
Do you get a lot of questions on your Ask FM about Dota, like just like how to play Dota and like solo MMR and all that stuff? Blitz or Purge, either one of you. I guess you don't have one. Yeah, but Blitz.
I think that's like my number one question is like, how do I improve in solo queue, or how do I get better at playing solo queue? It's like probably the most common one. It's like people always want to know what the trick is or what the secret is.
Do you get a lot of life advice questions?
Yeah, that's probably the second one. It's always about women.
Really?
It's always about women.
They ask you about women?
Yeah.
Do you give good advice?
It's hard because
Can you
I have to know like the person.
can you respond to people and not have the answer be public?
Yeah, but they can still see it. But
Okay.
I mean, if they're asking you a pretty personal question like that, then I mean, my main advice is always just be confident and don't be too available. That's probably my number one and number two piece of advice.
What does that mean? Don't be too available.
All right, so I theorize this. It's like I know a lot of guys that go on dates with girls and then they get friend zoned or they just don't get asked again. And a lot of it comes down to, so like let's say a girl asks you, she's like, "Hey, let's have lunch," and you're like, "Okay, we can get lunch." And then the next time she asks you, you immediately drop everything to just go grab lunch with her. I feel like there has to be some chase to it. So it's like,
So you, in that situation, would manufacture something.
no, it's
make
not
it
even
difficult.
manufacturing, but it's
Got it.
It's just
I got it.
no, but
Done.
it's
Advice
it's kind of
taken.
true. You can't just like be available at all times. Like you can't. Once you're in a relationship, you can do shit like that. But when you're in the dating phase, you do have to have some mystery, and you do have to kind of play cat and mouse. Like she has to make time for you as well, and she
So
has
I'll
to like go out of her way too.
so I'll be the proxy for the single person, given that I am single and you guys have girlfriends. At what point does someone realize they're in the relationship area? Isn't that something that most guys struggle with?
Wait, what do you mean? Are you saying like
Like, how do you know like
when you actually in a relationship?
Yeah.
You can verbally talk about it. I mean that's one thing. And it depends on the girl really. I feel like some girls are more flighty, like the way Will described. Like you may need to play it slower as you get to know them at the start. You can't just drop everything to spend time with them, and that's because some girls will get weirded out by that. So I think that's why he brings that up. It makes you look desperate, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So if the girl has flight possibilities because you look desperate, then she has a higher chance to back off. But you could also argue like, do you really want to be with that person then, anyways? If they would act like that, like, and I would say it's only like if you can demonstrate what your personality is like, and they still feel a little flighty, then maybe it's worth like saying that's okay that you separate.
Because
That
Blitz,
made
you
sense.
met your girlfriend online, technically, right?
I met her at MLG first, and then
Oh, okay.
we started playing Dota together. Yeah.
So the true
didn't know that.
dream. Met your girlfriend and started playing Dota. It's so easy, you know.
Especially at an MLG, that's like
At an MLG.
that's like
too.
there's like 1,000 guys there and like 30 girls, and you're competing basically.
How did you
Yeah.
do it, Blitz? How did you do it in person?
Uh,
What a story.
I don't know.
I would like a full retelling at some point.
I think I just YOLO like crazy when it comes to women, and
Yeah.
I think that's the right approach. Like I think if you're too afraid or you analyze stuff too much, like you're like this girl's too attractive for me, this girl's too whatever, then you've already killed your chances. You just have to be confident, and if that girl turns you down, I think confidence when it comes to women is knowing that if a girl turns you down or if it doesn't work out, you'll have another opportunity with another person, you know?
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys think that this is the person, and if it doesn't work out, they're fucked, and that just reeks of desperation. And
Yeah.
girls can sense that kind of shit, like from a mile away. That's why, if you're that kind of guy where you're just like, I'm gonna marry this girl, after like one date, then girls can tell that kind of shit, and I think it's
I
a
mean,
little bit off-putting.
That is kind of an extreme example. Who actually?
Nah, but
thinks
I know a
that's-
lot of guys they get super clingy after like one or two interactions. You know, they're like, this girl's the one for me, without even like talking to her for longer than like 20 minutes.
I think
You can't do shit like that.
that's like an immaturity thing though. I used to feel like that sometimes, maybe not the marriage part, but like some of the first girls that I met that I actually found interesting, I would be like, oh my god, this is the coolest person I've ever met. But you're going to meet a lot more cool people that are going to be cooler than that person that you met when you were younger.
Yeah,
So it's
so just
all
relax.
it's all just yeah,
Chill
it's
the
all
fuck
it's
out.
all about inexperience. You're so young, you haven't met that many people. Wow, you finally found a girl that likes games, that has a similar personality. There are a lot of girls like that. Just they're hard to find sometimes.
Man, we are off topic, but I like it.
We're talking about women and shit in a Dota podcast.
It's not a Dota podcast. It's a life podcast, guys.
Life
I like-
podcast.
And our lives are Dota, so
Yeah.
it's
It's just a three guys who are friends talking about life, and Dota happens to be a big part of it.
all right.
What a topic.
But yeah, I wouldn't recommend trying to pick girls up at like an MLG or something. It's a low chance of success. That's
Unless you're Blitz, right?
unless you're Blitz. That's like 17%ing like 4 times in a row, kind of
Hell
a
yeah.
chance.
It happens to someone though.
It does happen to somebody, but yeah, you have to be confident. Oh, and don't be afraid of just like being I want to explain maybe what Blitz said about being confident and YOLOing. He basically means just like don't pretend or something. Don't be outgoing if you're not outgoing, but don't be afraid to just be friendly with girls, and like they'll be totally cool with that. Like the one way I could compare this is like as a content creator, sometimes people that are fans of mine will act too friendly with me, kind of a thing, and you have to have like the perfect balance basically.
I mean, like when they call you Kevin and have never met you.
No, I don't care about that. But like if they're, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this before, but when somebody like you can tell they really want to be friends with you, it makes you really uncomfortable. Like you can just it's like this human emotion that's like programmed into us. If somebody like really, 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 really wants to be friends with us, it's really off-putting. And it's not just about relationships, it's also about friendships. So you have to like find the perfect balance. Just be like it ties into part of the thing that you said about like being unavailable. It shows that like you're not like willing to go all in just for a chance encounter with somebody. I don't know if it's like an anti-rape mechanic or something, or that's like built into humans to like be afraid of like somebody that really wants to spend time. I don't know what it is, but it makes you uncomfortable. So you have to balance that shit.
But that makes sense. Like if you're someone that wants to be friends with someone that's like in the Dota community, that's like maybe a known caster or whatever, the best way to do it is really to kind of treat them like a normal person and not like you're a fan of theirs. Like if you go up to someone like, oh, I'm a huge fan, like, you know, this and that, and like take a picture with you and sign all this, like immediately you are placed in a box, which is like this, like fans, you know, like they've had like thousands of interactions like that before. It's like whatever, you know. And I'm not saying that's bad or anything. Like obviously people like that because it's, you know, very fun, but it's not like you're not going to be like hamming it up with them playing on Steam that way.
I only had one outlier to that, and I think it was at Battle Royale Hall. It was either TI2 or TI3. I think I signed the guy's pecs or his something like that. Like he lifted his shirt up and I signed it, and he seemed like a really cool dude. And under any other circumstance, I'd be like, yeah, I would totally play with you. You seem like a cool guy. But like the whole signing his naked chest thing was just made it a little bit too weird. But like you said, in almost all cases, like just act like a normal person and treat them like a normal human being. Don't treat them like you're worshiping them. And this is like literally the same for girls. And if you just treat them normal, it'll make the interaction seem approachable and fine.
Yeah, when I first met Blitz, I was like, my heart was pounding out of my chest, and I just couldn't control it, and
I believe that.
I just pretended to treat him like a normal person, and now we're friends. You know, like he ever knew how big a fan I was right at the start.
That's amazing.
I know.
At the start.
Did you even have viewers back then?
Huh?
When did you first meet Blitz?
like, a long time.
Do you want to know what my first real interaction with Hotbid was?
What?
Actually, I shouldn't tell that story on this podcast. This is a little inappropriate.
What? Well, really?
I
don't even remember.
I was gonna tell maybe I should type it first.
Go ahead.
Well,
my
it's
Skype
gonna
is
go on.
D&D. No, it's cool. I D&D'd Skype. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we're not telling that story. Not
Yeah,
now.
we're not telling
No,
that story.
No.
I know that story too.
Do not.
When did we first meet, Ken? I don't think I remember. It was probably some StarCraft event.
It was at BTS. I stayed at BTS. I think.
No way, that wasn't the first one.
Wasn't?
No,
I'm pretty sure the thing I just typed was the first one.
it was that weekend.
Yeah,
We met
it
at some
was. I'm
MLG.
almost
I
certain.
think it must have been.
yeah.
Some
It was like MLG and IPL 4 around there. That was like
Yeah.
when I first moved to California, because I guess I hadn't really been to a LAN before that, other than TI.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Man, I wish we could tell that thing. On stream.
No, just stop. People are
Stop.
gonna keep asking about
People
it.
are
You're
gonna
not
be really mad
gonna
about it.
tell. It's really mean. Like,
Have
don't
fun.
tell the story.
Have fun with your Ask FMs now, guys.
Oh my god. Okay, you're forbidden to tell that story until I say
Okay.
We'll save that for next episode. Clearly, just
Yeah,
tune
come
in.
back, guys. It'll be there.
We'll create drama.
Are we gonna? Do we have like a wrap up? What do we? Are we like?
Could
Is there like a wrap? Because this is very unstructured.
I could just press stop. I don't know. Do we have to?
No, you know what the wrap up is? You should have like a mini rant instead of doing shout outs or some shit.
A mini rant about anything.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. You guys go first.
You guys want to rant
Blitz.
about?
Clearly, you brought this up, so you have something you want to rant about, Blitz. So.
No, I really don't. That's what I like. You know, kind of like you know how Letterman does his cold opens, but
No.
you do it as an outro instead.
Okay. All right. So I have a story that I can tell.
Okay. All right. Shoot.
So I went to Bed Bath and Beyond with Chobra the other day, and we were sitting there discussing a his shower has like a problematic shower head. It doesn't like properly have good water pressure.
Okay.
So I was like, "Don't you need this? Like a new shower head, whatever?" And he's like, "Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. I should get one of those." And then I was like, "Oh, but you have to install it." And he's like, yeah, that's probably a big problem. So I just put it back on the shelf. And this lady was watching us, like this old lady, like just sitting behind us, looking at us like we were actually crazy. Like she was just like, how are these kids? They have no idea what's going on with life. Like they need to replace a shower head, and they won't. They decided not to do it because they had to spend 5 minutes installing it. And we both looked at her and just walked away.
That's not what it was, dude. She just thought you guys were a gay Asian couple purchasing home
That
furnishings.
might have been actually. That might have been it.
For sure.
You guys would make a really cool couple. I would like that.
You would. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But it would make things a lot easier. I think.
Do you remember when we were in a Korean department store and you were shopping for like pillows, Will?
Yeah.
Tell the story, because you actually speak Korean and I don't. Do you remember the one I'm talking about?
Oh. Oh, okay. It was when I was trying to get new pillows and sheets for Corinne, right? Because it was about to be winter. And the lady, if I remember correctly, like the lady kept like looking at us weird.
Because it was
Yeah.
me and Will.
Yeah,
okay.
so it was like, it was a lady, right? It was a lady. And I was like me and Kevin were like, I was like telling him like to feel the pillows and stuff, so he would give me a second opinion. Like,
Okay.
so it was like, you think this is comfortable or whatever? And she's like, when I was like about to buy the pillows or whatever, she didn't say like boyfriend, because she didn't want to really go there,
Yeah.
because she's pretty old, but she heavily implied, it's like,
Were you like
Is this
both of us
for-
are girlfriends? We're both heterosexual.
yeah, I was like, no, this is for my girlfriend. She's just not here right now. I was like, oh, okay. But that's something that's like odd in Korea. It's like it's like I don't think it's like they mind if you're gay, but I get the feeling that they're not entirely sure how to approach that subject. Like how to
Purge, you have a
broach
story
it.
or a rant?
I don't think I do.
Okay. All right. Well, I had fun, guys. This forces us to talk for an hour. This is good.
I had fun too.
We don't get quality time.
Are we gonna
This-
take questions next time, or I guess
Sure.
if you guys have questions
in your
or
YouTube
topics that you
comments.
want me to talk about, just write on the YouTube video. You can follow everybody on Twitter. Blitz is Blitz_Dota. Hotbid is Hot_bid. God, you guys, what the? I'm at Purge Gamers on Twitter, and I think that's it. We'll make
Right.
another one of these soon, maybe a week, maybe never.
Yeah.
Leave comments, criticisms.
It'll probably be never. It's never. It's gonna be never. Don't.
Yeah.
don't
Come on, I
get your
believe,
hopes up,
guys. Come on, I believe in us. We can do it.
I know that story will come. You guys promised it'll be next episode. It will be next episode.
Oh, it won't. That's
It'll never be in. It'll
happen.
never come up again.
All right. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.